Heisman Trophy winner from Ohio State, an NFL running back from the Tennessee Titans. Eddie George is the new head coach of the Bowling Green Falcons. Bowling Green, that's the college where Urban Meyer got his start. Urban Meyer, who won national championships at both Florida, almost had one in Utah, got pretty close with Alex Smith, and then did really well in Ohio State. Actually, probably deserved to do a little bit better at Ohio State. There were some ridiculous sanctions we had to deal with, given the state of affairs in college football now that players are getting paid, and Ohio State had to get rid of Jim Tressel because some of his players traded their own personal belongings for like tattoos and stuff. They traded some memorabilia for tattoos, and the Buckeyes were dinged as a program. Yet the investigation into that team up north, the Wolverines, kind of concludes, and they're barely given a slap on the wrist for cheating and stealing the signs of their opponents for years. Harbaugh stealing wins from Ohio State and the rest of the NCAA. But that's neither here nor there. If it's neither here nor there, where is it? It's a win for the Buckeyes. It's a win for Bowling Green. The Bowling Green Falcons won with Eddie George. The Buckeyes beat the alleged number one team in the country, and Arch Manning. Oh, they were hoping he was going to be the next big thing, but that did not happen. Matt Patricia and the Buckeyes defense got after it and won the game. But I'm going to do a separate show today, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Going to kind of recap some of that stuff in the landscape of college. And then tomorrow, we're going to have an episode, Season 2, Episode 1, I suppose is what we'll call it. I think that's what it's going to be. Where's the graphic here? Where is the graphic? There it is. Strictly Football with BrianEngelman, Mike Barrett, and Jim Mitchell. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Maybe Ezrael Robinson will join us. And we're going to talk football and look at the NFL upcoming season. But we'll do that on another show. Right now, this is the TNAM Daily Show, so let's get it started. But I was sipping out of my Bowling Green Falcons cup. This is a Falcon Great Cup. I'm like blending into the background here. I don't know if I need brighter lights or what. I feel like I'm very illuminated, but the three-dimensional, maybe it's the color of the, I don't know what's going. Oh, maybe because the background is green and this is a green background. That's what's causing it. Anyway, let's launch properly. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion Spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. No longer California, Los Angeles to be pseudo-specific. My name is BrianEngelman. Today is Monday, September the 1st, 2025. And this right here is the TNAM Daily Show. If you're looking for our podcast, that's a division of, oh, where'd it go? The Agree to Disagree Show. Get that podcast. The Agree to Disagree Show holds the TNAM Daily Shows. Broadcast here on the New American Media because the old American media has failed you. On today's program, we're going to discuss all of the things. Oh, yes, all the things. President Trump is demanding real COVID vaccination information. Did you know that they're taking the first couple weeks of data and saying, nope, that doesn't apply to a fully vaccinated person? At least that's the allegation. We'll try to unpack, is that accurate or not? But the claim, according to a lot of very smart people, is that if people have a really bad reaction in the first whatever moment from taking it to whatever their cutoff line is, a couple seconds, a couple minutes, a couple hours, a couple days, a couple weeks, they get rid of all of those people and say, look at everybody else. Here's what we're going to measure. We can't factor those people in. This is what we've been asking for a long time, is accuracy in measurement. And if you listen to people like Scott Adams, there is no accuracy in measurement. Can't even measure the temperature of the planet accurately. And there's different measuring devices that are near different areas of heat deserts or, asphalt or airports, and everything's cooking and adding extra. how do you even measure the temperature? Like how do you measure jobs data? How do you measure health? How do you measure efficacy? How do you measure people who were already too sick to be helped by a vaccine? And then how do you measure all the people that had adverse reactions after they took it up until whatever cutoff zone? Where do you measure that? President Trump has thrown down the gauntlet and said, I want all of it. And I want it now. So we'll see how that plays out. Also, Earthlings are demanding that invaders leave. I got a lot of stories from over the weekend. You're seeing it in Japan. You're seeing it in Australia. You're seeing it across the United Kingdom, all across Europe. Sovereign residents born into their country are being invaded by outsiders who are not only coming in and not only stealing their resources and not only getting in the way and trying to radically transform their culture, they are abusing, stealing the innocence of the children of the residents of these nations. This is an invasion. Oh, but remember when the media was in charge and the Obama doctrine was pushing division at every turn? And if people said, why are we being replaced? Oh my gosh, you're a bad person. Also, I'm going to utter a few slurs and slanders about you. You don't want to get caught being one of those guys, so you better not complain while your country is invaded. That ain't happening. That ain't happening anymore. The Obama doctrine has run rampant for pretty much the past 16 years with a chilling effect on speech. And when I say Obama doctrine, working with global leaders like George Soros, allegedly, and all these other non-governmental organizations that are completely or mostly or significantly funded by government, which essentially makes them an offshoot of government organizations, to dump non-citizens into sovereign nations across the world. That agenda is now, right now, receiving the biggest Heisman. Like I said about Eddie George holding the football and kind of tuck it away and give you the palm of the fist, give you a pop, palm of the hand, pop. Get out. I don't know who you are or where you came from. Nobody ran a criminal background check to find out if you're a kid abuser or a human abuser, a thief, a monster of any sort. Or, by the way, this is our country. You get to audition for us through the immigration process and convince us why you're going to bring something to the table that's going to elevate our country. We are under no obligation to let anybody in anything. Into your car? Oh, definitely keep your legs closed. Don't let just anybody inside of you. Oh, yeah, that's as personal as it gets, isn't it? From keeping your legs closed to keeping your door locked, to keeping your door locked in your vehicle. Nobody has a right to get inside your vehicle when you're driving. That's your car. Yeah, but you can't like own a country, man. Yeah, you can. That's why you have borders. Yeah, but borders are bad. No, they're not. Break free, fucking snap out of the brainwashing from the lying legacy media and the demonic deep state Democrat Party. And this is a global thing. Keir Starmer, Trudeau, and what's his nuts up there? What's his name? Carney up there in Canada. Doesn't matter what country you're talking about. Borders are the only thing that define the terms. And if it's your country, you define the terms. Do you want to be invaded? Well, globally, they're having a pushback against that. So we'll discuss. And also, America's Mayor Rudy Giuliani has been hospitalized in a really bad car crash. Then there's extra pieces to the story. Was it intentional or accidental? What do you know about the story? We're going to unpack that and more on today's program. Yes, Marion saying those Buckeyes beat up on my Longhorns big time. Yes, thanks for joining us in the live stream. We did a sports live stream covering the game. Myself and Ezrael Robinson from Los Angeles, California joined. Marion was there. John was there. No, it's the Ohio State Buckeye. The Ohio State Buckeyes. Kenneth is asking, can you spare a buck guy? Yeah, that's what a lot of these people that are invading sovereign nations are like, hey, can you pay for a 5-star hotel for me to stay? Hey, can you give me a credit card that doesn't run out of money? Hey, can I work jobs that used to go to people of your country? Hey, take, like a bunch of locusts. How dare you? How dare you compare people in their hour of need to locusts? Take. Change. Destroy. Take, destroy. No, not everybody is a bad person, and not everybody's a taker. But if there's a single bad person, that's one too many. They're supposed to be screened out before you even get there. I've never gone into Canada without presenting evidence of who I am. And so what do you plan on doing here? How long do you plan on staying? I don't know, guy, leave me alone. But you do it. Every time you fly into Mexico or Central America, or like you go to different places, they want to know who you are, where you're coming from. They want to take a look at you. It's the parents saying, so you want to date my daughter, huh? Let's sit down. Let's have a chat. We owe it to ourselves. What'd you say here? Let Nimbus open the show. I would have probably done that, except the reason I was a little delayed today was because Nimbus and Mr. Bean, because if one of them does it, the other wants to do it. That's the essence of siblings and brothers in general. Very competitive, very, me, mine. Oh, he's got one, I want one. I know, because I had a brother. I was a brother. Forever brother, I suppose. But yeah, I can't have Nimbus open the show because he had early lunch, which set me back a little bit because then I had to wash some bowls and open some cans of food and get the guys and wrap up something else. So I can't open the show today, but he may join us. Nimbusa rhyme. I was just listening to, I was listening to Coolio, Gangster's Paradise yesterday. All right. So those are the stories and more that we're going to talk about on today's program. So grab your beverage, buckle up, and join us for the TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree show here on the New American Media. Let's go.
Guide to the Truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Thank you all so very much for joining us. I want to remind you that we are doing an all-out assault to get our monetization back, kicking and screaming, clawed back from YouTube, who stole it all those years ago. We are only 344 pennies away. 344 pennies. What is a penny? A penny is if you go to the New American Media YouTube channel and watch a video. Just let it play at one volume, 1%, just one click up. Let it play on multiple devices even. Let it play for a while, then go on to the next one, play another one. Each hour watched is a penny, and we are 344 away from crossing into the 3,000 hours watched threshold so that we can then apply for super chats and link up our store and membership. Not quite back to, we'll need another 1,000 after that. But what we're taking our baby steps. We'll need 1,344 to get our advertising, to put commercials into our videos again. We were making money. We were starting to you know, we were starting to be able to pay for our enterprise. Sorry, a lot of noise outside, seeing what that was about. Yeah, we did have advertising revenue coming in, and it was, it helped. It really helped offset. Now we're completely relying on the crowdfunding to assist us. So thank you to everybody who has been a supporter of this program, a continued supporter, a Patreon supporter, a Venmo Cash App. Let me toss that up on the screen. If anyone wants to know how to support the New American Media, it's right here on Patreon at the New American Media. We have a tip jar at Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. So Venmo and Cash App is my name, BrianEngelman, spelled at the bottom of the screen. And then the email address for PayPal is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com, fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. But yeah, 344 pennies away, pennies into the wishing well. Each penny is 1 hour of content watched. A couple of people doing a few hours a day, we can knock this out immediately. Between the regulars, the first-time watchers, people in between. And, just crossing things off the list, doing what we can actually control. We can't control everything, but before I completely give up on YouTube, let's see if I can get that money stream rolling back out. It's hard to dedicate thousands of hours of your life to something without being able to pay your bills doing it. So, it's kind of a give and take. It's a give and take. How many hours am I going to dedicate to what I love doing and what I think I'm good at doing, which is disseminating the news, delivering you current events and information, trying to be entertaining, engaging, and funny, and get the community talking. Speaking of the community, let me put the comments up on the screen here. But yeah, thank you to everybody who has supported us. Another new month means another new Patreon milestone. So thank you, everybody. You are all immensely appreciated, and your support means the world. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's jump into the news. There's something else I was going to tell you. Doesn't matter. Let's just get to the news. All right, are you aware of this? Actually, I think this is the show that I was on. I got to report for Real America's Voice last year, as I've mentioned before. And I did a couple of hits. I was on with Jack Posobiec, and then I was on with 3 attractive ladies afterward. I think that might be this program. Forgive me, I don't know the names of the ladies, and I don't know the name of the program. And then they used several of my segments on Bannon's Cold Open for War Room that night. But did you know, Ron Paul talks about totalitarianism and how things will play out if you let it. And he mentions blowback. If you go messing around in every other country, well, eventually you might have blowback in your own country. Well, the Obama doctrine, pushing all that stuff that they've been pushing, there is a massive boost in church attendance now.
Data is showing that church attendance amongst 18 to 24-year-olds has jumped 16%, in fact, since Trump returned to office. So they're calling.
16% is not insignificant. That's almost 1 in 5. Call it 20% is 1 in 5 for a nice round number. That's significant, is it not? Also, question of the day. I guess a 2-part question. 1, do you consider yourself a spiritual or godly person? And when is the last time that you have gone to church? Do you recall the last time you went to church outside of a funeral or something? As I'm asking you that question, I don't know the answer myself. I can't recall the last time I went, but I've been thinking about it for years. I have been thinking about it for years.
Calling this, a quiet revival. Supporters are saying that, Trump isn't just fighting for politics.
And by the way, specifically, they're saying amongst 18 to 24-year-olds, it's jumped to 16%.
But he's leading a spiritual renewal. And I think we see with Charlie Kirk as well and Turning Point USA and all the young kids. But what's your take, Michelle, on this? And do you find this in your life? Are you seeing younger kids going back to church?
I love it. I think it's great. This is such great news. I've seen it for a while. I used to live in Miami, Florida. And if you know anything about Miami, very flashy culture, a bit soulless at times, right? It's very materialistic, superficial and whatnot.
Maybe not unlike Los Angeles.
I belong to a church down there called VU Church, and it was a phenomenal church because it appealed to a younger generation. So much so that I think when I left, they had about 4 or 5 different locations, packed out, by the way, so much so that you had to go upstairs and watch from above if you didn't get there in time. And it was all younger kids. And a lot of people in the Miami area, there's so much to do there. We're looking for a sense of purpose and community and a greater good. And that's all.
There's something that could be said about the purpose. You can get stuck in your day to day and just go, man, today's just like the last day, which is probably going to be like tomorrow. Like, what is even the point? All the things we spend our time, energy, our karma, our chi, our spirit, everything we spend our time and energy on. Are we really even pondering who the hell are we? Who are we? How did we get here? Where and what is here? What happens when I leave this place? And is there some sort of point? Those are like the 5 most basic human questions that we all have, these frying pan to the face moments, revelations, or just like existential crises or opportunities to take a second and just meditate and think and pray and be alone with our thoughts. And sometimes there's nothing scarier than being alone with our thoughts. I mean, I do these shows, and this is a bit of I'm providing a public service. I think a lot of you appreciate, well, for various reasons, if you're going to kind of find out what's going on in the world and put your finger on the pulse of the zeitgeist, this is a good way to do it here at the New American Media. I've tried to build something up over the past 14 years that's consistent, steady, reliable, honest, entertaining, friggin' hilarious, deep, intellectual, clever, and unique. But yeah, who are we? How did we get here? What happens after this? Aren't we all asking these questions? Kenneth is saying he's spiritual and no church needed. Kenneth, how did you, if I may follow up, how did you grow up? Were you in a religious household? I was raised in a religious household, a religious Christian household of various denominations. Oftentimes, either Lutheran, Presbyterian, Reformed, Baptist. There's all various variations of just, well, let's learn about the stories and let's apply that to things that are Hey, at the cookout, what happened the other day? I was doing this thing and it reminded me of Matthew 17:40. And you're like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see how that parable kind of plays into my real life. Maybe I should kind of adopt some of these strategies. I shouldn't covet after my neighbor's lawnmower or my neighbor's smoking hot wife. That'll lead to bad stuff. I probably shouldn't act like that. So if you just break the Bible down into stories, it can be good. If you go super strict to each singular letter, well, then you got to ask about the Council of Nicaea. Why was the Book of Enoch taken out? Was it the Gospel of Thomas and Mary Magdalene and the kingdom of God residing within us? There's a lot of questions. So yeah, you can be spiritual without feeling the need to go to a church. You could take things to a T, or you could just kind of take them general, broadly speaking. Okay, you were confirmed a Lutheran. Yeah, I went to Lutheran church. There you go. You're taking that kingdom of God resides within me. I am. Wherever I am is my church. And yeah, the way that we evangelize our thoughts, our ideas, our soul, we are kind of walking gospels of our personal zeitgeist. I've met people that were like Ned Flanders. They were like annoyingly perfect. And it's like, stop putting on the act. I mean, I get it. I appreciate it too, but come on. Come on. I'm thinking of one guy right now. Or maybe I was jealous. Maybe a little. Maybe a little. But also, it was like, come on, nobody's that perfect. Danette, every Sunday in church. What type of church is that? I'm getting baptized again the 15th. What? Bravo. Awesome. What are you noticing any changes in the demographics of your church? And what kind of church is that? And why do you feel the need to get baptized again? If you do it once, isn't that enough? I believe I was baptized a second time, and I was saved and born again a second time. Cause I was like, when I did it the first time, I was a little kid and I was like being told to. Now it's like I walked away from it, took some time away. Now I'm going to choose to come back of my own free will and accord. And I'm going to do this on my own for me this time. So I know that it's me and not peer pressure or just, people pleasing. That's why I did that. Kenneth will pop into a church's chicken, perhaps. Get the biscuits. Marion down there in Texas saying, always spiritual, but don't attend church. Did you used to attend a church? And have you thought about going back to a church? And if so, what kind of church? I've been thinking about going back. There's a couple on my radar that I just got to do it. I think I got to figure out what I'm going to wear. I don't really want to just stroll in looking like I'm in the Sears catalog in 1953, with the fancy hat and the full whatever piece suit and maybe a cane or a walker, kind of like spinning it in my fingers like, hey, how are you? Hey. And I don't want to walk in wearing my Ohio State shirt. It's just kind of like, I could do better than that. But I think what I want to wear to show up to the first place for the first time at a new place, that has kept me from going on multiple occasions. I'm like, I think I'll just go. And I'm like, what would I wear? But that's true. I cannot be the only one. By the way, check out that song, Am I the Only One by Aaron Lewis. He did a country album, and that was from Aaron Lewis is the vocalist of Stained. But he sings a song, Am I the Only One, about the world going batshit crazy. It's a good song. Confirmed Lutheran. So yeah, church is going up. Danette is non-denominational. Once is enough, but I feel like as an adult, I'm choosing to reconcile my life. Yeah, I've heard of born-again virgins, people that are like, you know what? I'm going to personally say, I want to take control of my life, and starting today, I'm going to be a born-again virgin, for example, or I'm going to be sober. I'm going to go to Alcoholics Anonymous, and by the way, there's a church component to AA. Starting today, I'm going to be nicotine free. I'm going to lead a new life. I'm going to be born again today. So yeah, to reconcile your life, to recalibrate, to kind of say that is that I'm going to turn the page on a previous version of me in a previous existence. Starting today, I've got a path moving forward. Yeah. Church helps us do that sometimes.
Ultimately, what religion leads you to, going back to a life of God, a lot of people realizing that the alternate way of life is empty and soulless and leads a lot of people.
You can party as much as you want. You can go to as many football games as you want. You can go out to the bars and you can hook up as much as you want. I'm not saying I have done those things, but I will tell you I've been a bartender behind a bar for a while, and I've seen a lot of things. So what do you do with that? Marion says, yes, I attended in my younger years, mostly Baptist churches. Yeah, I went to several Baptist churches myself. Jesus, my nose itching. I feel like somebody's writing a haiku about me. Is that what that means? Your nose itches? Someone's etching your name into a things remembered plaque or something. Marion says, yes, I attended in my younger years, mostly Baptist. I've thought about attending again, but also feel like what Kenneth said, wherever I am is my church. Yeah, I know that's how I feel too. However, what I'm feeling is what about I didn't love how things could get cliquey and judgy and shit, but like there could also be a whole new friends group out there because friends do become your family. So that's a new family out there in a support group. Or, oh, you just meet, oh, so and so. Yeah, I'm a mechanic and I do stuff on the week. Oh, you're man, I got this problem on my thing, man. I'd love to buy you dinner if you could take a look. I'll do it for nothing. I know, but let me get you dinner for nothing anyway. And then just your support network starts to grow of friends and acquaintances, people you treat right, who are going to treat you right. I'm not saying you join things so that people can look at your car for free, but I am saying, if that guy's an electrician, I'm like, dude, I've been looking for someone I could hire for like $50 an hour to come do a couple things at my place. Any chance you or someone you know are looking to make a few bucks and I could cross a few things off my to-do list? Hey, yeah, maybe you do go to the cookout. Maybe you do go to some functions. And then maybe it's just entire lives could change because you're able to meet people that are at least theoretically trying to vibe on your same wavelength. I moved across the country with my band. I had my band as a support system, but when you got 5 people living in a 2-bedroom, let me just say some of the stress of living close to your friends could be, counterproductive to having good relationships. Sleeping on the couch, sleeping in the kitchen, roommates not doing their damn dishes when you have to sleep in the kitchen. Come on, guys. Just, roommates are tough. But yeah, it had to sort of build a new support system out in Los Angeles. Had to do that in Louisville, Kentucky. New support system, new groups, all the people I knew growing up, they're in Ohio. Not that none of them left. A bunch of them have, of course, but like, that's where my core group of people, they're up in Ohio. Yeah, I'm a tank of gas away, which is nice, but it's nice to know people who just know you so well. You're not starting from scratch. Every interaction doesn't feel like an interview. I know in Los Angeles, maybe like Miami, oh, what do you do? It's kind of like, how can you help me? Kind of like I just said, oh, are you a mechanic? I'm looking for a mechanic. Oh, are you an electrician? I really need some electrical. Can I get something out of this guy? Can I get something out of this relationship? Oh, you're a producer, you say. Well, I'm a screenwriter. Can I show you my script? Can I get something out of this relationship? So it is what people do. It's called networking. But it's like going to the bar as a bartender. You want to know the easiest way to get a free drink? Easiest way to get a free drink. Type it in the comments. Tell me, what's the easiest way to get a free drink? Type it in the comments. Easiest way to get a drink in a bar. Type it in the comments. Kenneth is saying he's a born-again stoner. Does that mean you're practicing Sharia law and you're throwing stones at somebody you buried up to their shoulders because you saw too much of her cheekbone underneath her Halloween costume? It's 195 degrees out in the desert and you got to wrap yourself in a black tarp like you're a Mazda Miata in the garage. That's compatible with modern society. No, it's not. You might mean a different kind of stoner, perhaps. Kenneth says he tended bargain sales. Yeah, I'm very excited about my reselling, by the way. I do have a reselling channel. I'm making more content on there, and I've entered a new era, a new phase, and I think things are about to expand pretty quickly. I've probably said that before, but I feel it in a way that I haven't felt it before. It's called Picking Winners Resale. It's on YouTube if you want to subscribe to that. Right now, I've just been making 3-minute shorts about things I picked up and pricing and packing and strategy and negotiating. It's just kind of how to do reselling. So please check that out because, yeah, my bargain sales, I've been loving that. Kenneth asks, are churches God's hearing aids? I mean, okay, I like that. I've been looking for a Church of the Fawns. David had a secret chord, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do ya? What am I building toward? Hallelujah. 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 That was a lot of build up for a really dumb joke. Thanks for that, Kenna. That says for me, it's more about alignment with Holy Spirit. I've never hung out with anyone from church. I walk in, I walk out. I don't want to know anybody. You did the skull and crossbones. I admit I did sort of feel that way. I don't want to be judged by you. I don't want to be a part of this little cliquey thing, this weird little culty thing. I never loved it, but I did have acquaintances, and I had some whatever. But yeah, I sort of walk in, walk out. What's the easiest way to get a drink in a bar? Kenneth says, be a gal. I know, that is really. Hold on, Marion, have you never been to a bar? Do you not know how to get a free drink? What could that even possibly mean? Well, as a bartender, I'll tell you this. Looping back to the question of the day. Hit like, hit subscribe, by the way, however you're watching. Click to share the show and maybe text it to a couple of your smart, funny friends and just say, hey, we watch the news at noon. You want to jump in? We're talking about all the things. Send it out on Facebook or X or something. Man, someone is really writing a haiku about me. They say when your nose itches. Anyway, the best way to get a free drink in a bar is to not ask for a free drink. Be cool. Just be cool. Tip well, solid. You don't have to be stupid. Just tip solid. And be pleasant. Be off to the side. Don't be in the speed well blocking more people coming through so they can make more money. But just kind of be in the zone, be of the zone, and be cool with the person. They say if you hang around a barbershop long enough, eventually you're going to get a haircut. So if you're hanging out long enough, eventually you're going to overpour a beverage for someone else. And you know what? You got a little bit left in the cup, pour it in a little glass, make that person feel special. You weren't necessarily like trying to give away free booze. You just happen to have a little extra. Here you go. Yeah, but good bartenders pour it to the exact quarter of an ounce. Yeah, okay. I know. But sometimes. And it's not just that. Like if you have a regular Tuesday shift and you have regulars on Tuesday, yeah, sometimes you do hook people up. Not every time, because then they expect it. And you can't have that because that turns into a mess. It's really a feel it out kind of situation. You never want someone to anticipate or feel entitled to free shit. Hey, we're getting back to illegal alien invasion. The next caliphate to dominate the world. Because up until now, people have been too dumb or too ashamed or too wimpy to defend their homeland, to defend their way of life, to defend their friends and family, defend their communities. It is really nice to see that changing. But yeah, that is the best way to get a free drink. Don't bring it up. So when you meet people, the goal is to find something you could do for them. It's just a great way to start off a relationship. It's like, hey, do you know what? Can I give you that's ideal. It's not, oh, what do you do? Oh, great. Here's how you can help me. It's like, oh, well, hey, maybe I could watch your cats when you're out of town. Yeah, I don't mind. Sure. Yeah, maybe you have cats too, and maybe they could return the favor, and you offer, and then sometimes things come back. But the point of offering is just to offer for offering's sake. But yeah, no, I get it. Go into church and get out and stay away. I don't want to sign up for your thing. I don't want to, just let me come and go. If I decide to do something, just don't approach me. Don't sell me on it. And I've always been uncomfortable with the concept of selling God. I have pastors in my family, and it's like, I get it. It's just, evangelizing and trying to I guess you're probably supposed to just lead by example. But yeah, I've been thinking about going back.
People into a dark spiral. Shout out to VU Church, by the way. If you're in Miami, check it out. It's amazing.
I will. I like to frequent Miami quarterly just because the weather's amazing and we've got Rav down there in West Palm, so it's a very nice place to visit. All right, Haley, you?
Yeah, this is really wonderful to see. And people talk about the evils of social media a lot. My show is called Nightly Scroll. I have an insane screen time. I'm on my phone way too much. But people talk about
And by the way, I hope some of you get that experience here. We formed a community, right? We have a community here. We get together. We hang out. We're friends. We're family. We're remote, but we hang out. But I think I've been spending less time scrolling because I scroll with you. I unpack the X feed. I unpack the Instagram feed. I scroll enough to know that the stories are relevant, worth sharing, but to actually unpack it and really unpack our thoughts about it, I don't think. She says she scrolls too much nightly, but I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this experiment of unpacking the news together because I don't know. I feel like I'm not doing it twice, which is good. And maybe as I grab interesting, I just toss the stories out and I'm like, I know I'm going to get a chance to let my thoughts out on this later. I don't need to let it consume and distract me from what I'm doing now. Maybe, you have 5 minutes of downtime, you scroll, that's relevant. I'll share it. But it's not like I'm going to sit and watch a couple minutes of it. This is where we do that. And then we go our separate ways. I think it kind of works for me.
the evils of social media a lot, the evils of our phone, and some of
We have to be cognizant of what we're doing on our phone for sure.
this bad content and demonic content that kids can get wrapped up in, but we don't talk enough about the good content that is out there. Just this morning, I was scrolling on TikTok and this came up. It said, the top 10 podcasts for Christian girls in their 20s and 30s. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to save this. And once your For You page starts to get to know you and the algorithm starts to get to know you, they're not going to feed you demonic stuff if that's not what you're interacting with. I get a bunch of Christian content and I absolutely love it. So I think a lot of kids are in the same boat. There are a bunch of Christian influencers, and I think that's really wonderful.
And that is a good point. The more stuff you interact, I shared one from Jeff Dye. I got to find that photograph where I met Jeff Dye at the Louisville Comedy Club, where I've been fortunate enough to perform a large part of this year. I need to get back there. I've been putting my energy into different tasks, such as reselling and such as, Strictly Football coming up and the Unhappy Hour sports show coming up with the Browns season on the horizon. But yeah, Jeff Dye was talking about it, and it's the algorithm will give you what you tell the algorithm you want. That's the trick. If you want good things, it's like good things in, good things out. All right, let's go to this. Have you heard about this Polish CEO who took a hat at the U.S. Open?
The guy who stole the hat from the kid at the US Open. He's the CEO of this Polish company, and let's just say he has no regrets. He released a statement today that is almost as crazy as stealing the hat from a kid. I'm sure you've seen the clip by now where
there it is. So this dude in the blue is signing things, and this kid in the white has stuff. Look, I'm actually going to defend the guy a little bit. I know it's indefensible. At least that's what commenters are saying, because we love nothing more than being able to look down our nose at people and say, well, I would never. There's a whole energy to autographs and swag and home run baseballs. It's just hot potato. First one to grab Excalibur gets to rule the land. There's an energy to that. And let me just play you the clip and you tell me, because obviously the guy that's talking is going to, let me just play the clip. Have you seen this? Do you know what I'm talking about? So guy in blue is signing. I forget the guy's name. Kid's waiting.
Guy takes the hat from a tennis player that was trying.
So he took the hat off of his head and just put it out. He held it out. He just kind of gave it away and looked away. It was sort of at the barrier, at the shoulder barrier between kid and man. Hat came out, hat was grabbed. If he wanted it to go to the kid, he would have handed it to the kid and watched the kid take it and let go. He just put it out, gave it away. Now, maybe the intent was to give it to the kid. You could say maybe, you could say probably or likely. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. But still, here's a hat, grab a hat. Like you're waiting around trying to get signatures and stuff, and here comes a hat, you grab a hat.
To be given to the kid next to him. The internet figured out who he was, Piotr.
So I don't know. I remember having to get Trevor Bauer's attention to get him to sign a baseball in Anaheim. Eventually I did. It took a while though. But yeah, kids are prioritized. I don't know. I'm just going to defend the guy a little bit. Like everyone's trying to absolutely destroy this guy. Polish millionaire.
Scary.
Piotr Cezarek.
He's Polish. I correctly predicted he was European in the video that I originally posted. Credit to me. He runs this company called Dogbrook. Don't know what it does, but he's a millionaire in Poland. This is his statement. The recent incident at the tennis match has caused an online uproar.
Disproportionate.
It's all about the famous hat, of course. Yes, I took it. Yes, I did it quickly. But as I've always said, life is first come, first served. I understand that some people might not like it, but please, let's not make a global scandal out of the hat. It's just a hat. If you were faster, you would have had it.
I don't know. Look, I see both perspectives. I see both perspectives. And yes, Kenneth, he still appears to be a D-bag nonetheless. I probably agree there. I probably agree. Marion saying, I'm sure he did want the kid to have it. He probably did. Although probably, if you definitely want the kid to have it, you take it off, you hand it to the kid, you watch him take it. If somebody steals it, you go, hey, that guy. And you point, you go, that guy just stole give me that hat. That's I was handing it to that kid and you ripped it out of my hands. Now, if he gave it to the kid and the kid's like, yay, I got a hat. And then he puts it on and then the guy yanks it off of his head. That's theft. But this was never in the kid's hands. So I don't know. I'm going to grant this guy a little bit of slack here. And that is hilarious. It's just a hat. If you were faster, you would have it.
Regarding online hate, I remind you that insulting a public figure is subject to legal liability. All offensive comments, slander, and insinuations will be analyzed for the possibility of taking the matter to court.
So now he's saying, if you say bad things about me, I'm going to sue you. I mean, okay, yeah, that line is funny. It's just a hat. If you were faster, you'd have the hat. And he saw the hat, he grabbed the hat. I don't know. If he stole it from the kid, he yanked his arm, put it on his head, you took it off that's just a theft. That's called theft. It was never the possession of the kids. And if the tennis star handing it out wanted it to go to the kid, he should have handed it to the kid, made sure that the kid got it, and moved on. So there's a little bit of ambiguity here. I don't know.
This man is crazy. I mean, it makes sense because he took that hat from that kid and didn't feel bad at all. He didn't even think about it twice. And I love how he keeps talking about the hat. It sounds like a Seinfeld episode. Wow, Piotr, I mean.
Sounds like a Seinfeld episode. What's the deal with the hat? Letting the cat right out of the bag. Oh, I got to do a Kramer. What's a Costanza? Can't stand you. Costanza.
Wow. Internet found out about the guy.
I want to watch it one more time.
At the U.S. Open. He's the CEO of this Polish
company.
company.
Well, it is in his hand a little bit.
He released a statement today that is almost as crazy.
You know what? Look, in that exact moment, the hat's in front of the guy on the left. This kid is reaching to take it from the guy. If you were just to not know what was happening here.
Stealing the hat from a kid. I'm sure you've seen the clip by now.
Okay,
where this guy takes the hat from a...
Okay, it did go up to his shoulder. And he reaches across his body. It's technically on his bicep line of the kid. But does the kid even grab it? The kid is more surprised by it. Meanwhile, this guy's got all his fingers on it.
Tennis player.
And it's already his possession. Now the kid's going after trying to take it.
Player that was trying to be given to the kid next to him. The internet figured out who he...
I don't know. I'm just going to say tennis player did ensure the hat was fully given to anybody, let alone the kid. It was a bang play. And it's actually a surprisingly interesting moment. I don't know. I have thoughts on it, but it's just a kid. It's just a hat. And I think the tennis player said, how do you find the kid? I want to give him a hat, which is what you're supposed to do in that situation. Hopefully all's well that ends well. All right.
And the one thing that
Gnome is complaining, saying she joined CBS to report on the facts about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Remember the Democrats, the deep state Democrats' favorite poster child, the human smuggler? Allegedly. Instead, CBS shamefully edited the interview to whitewash the truth about the MS-13 gang member and the threat he poses to the American public safety. So here's two different versions.
we will continue to do is to make sure that he doesn't walk free in the United States of America. This individual was a known human smuggler, a MS-13 gang member, an individual who was a wife beater, and someone who was so perverted that he solicited nude photos from minors.
A wife-beating pedo.
And even his fellow human traffickers told him to knock it off. He was so sick in what he was doing and how he was treating small children. So he needs to never...
Small children, what age?
Never be in the United States of America, and our administration is making sure we're doing all that we can to bring him to justice. And the one thing that we will continue to do is to make sure that he doesn't walk free in the United States of America. This individual was a known human smuggler, MS-13 gang member.
So, you know, so this is CBS still editing to remove important context from MAGA members. I know that there's a, you know, for time, things are edited out. When I was on my game show, I chimed in real quick and got the answer wrong. And I was like, it was the question was about Scott Brown, the politician in Massachusetts. Remember around the time of Obamacare, and he might have been a vote that could have blocked it. The question on Catch 21 when I was on the game show with Alfonso Ribeiro was something like, politician Scott Brown, blah, 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 posed nude on this magazine cover. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, Playgirl. And they're like, wrong. I was like, oh, no. And it was actually in, maybe it was Cosmo on the cover. And I'm like, great. My very first words on national TV are going to be Playgirl. But that was edited out for time. I did actually chime in and have that question wrong. Now, the difference is they didn't need to show it because I didn't lose points for the incorrect answer. So you didn't have to explain away the math. If I lost 100 points, you'd have to leave that on Jeopardy. You just, how do you make up for the 100-point deduction otherwise? But there was no penalty for wrong answers. And I learned that during the pregame when we were prepping for the show. And I'm like, I'm just thinking to myself, strategy. I've never seen the show Catch 21. Part trivia, part blackjack. catch your own 21 and win, or bust your opponents out past 21. Get the question right, and then you get to decide. Keep the card, give the card. And I'm like, but there's no penalty for the wrong answer. I'm gonna jump in and guess every freaking time. I'll have the most wrong answers in the history of this game show. I actually knew a lot. It was either I have no idea and I don't even know what to guess, or, oh, I do actually know this, and I ended up winning. But that was edited out. So to some degree, you can do a Rupar. That's what Scott Adams called Aaron Rupar is completely disingenuous. You could call it demonic to try to literally take out the most important context of the thing. Like when they did the Fine People hoax with President Trump. I'm not talking about the Nazis or neo-Nazis. They should be condemned totally. But there were a lot of fine people saying there's a statue that exists, leave it alone. And other people that said, tear it down. A lot of fine people were just like, leave it alone. But that's what a Rupar is. You cut out the middle part that completely changes the meaning of the thing that you're going to try to convince me of. And you're doing it knowingly and intentionally. I don't know that this rises to that level. But her describing who this monster is feels like super important context to their brainwashed audience. Meaning it was probably powerful, so CBS decided they didn't want it to be a part of the show. Yeah, why would you want a guy who's beating his wife and sexting minors? A pedo. Why the hell? A human trafficker on 9 people in his van going and stopped in Tennessee. None of them speak a lick of English. None of them have any baggage. Like this is human trafficking. Yeah, we want this guy to stay. No, we don't. So that's important context, but it's not quite a Rupar. But that happened on Face the Nation. Matt Van Swole reminds us, not a single human being who watches or reads the mainstream media knows about this. Not one. Let that sink in. Hey, raise your hand. Question of the day. Do you know about this? Do you know about this girl with the knife and the hatchet? Raise your hand if you're sure. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better. Mentos fresh. Anyway. But do you know about this girl? I do. We've talked about it on this show. Allegedly getting harassed by a group of illegal alien invaders. And they're filming and taunting her. And she finally pulls up the methods, the means to defend herself from these guys that are stalking her. They're like hunting her with her phone. Go on, show us, tell us. What are you trying to egg her on to get her in trouble? Screw you. Get out of the 13-year-old kid's face, guy. So yeah, children are tired of being harassed 24/7 and the need to have weapons to protect themselves. Every human has the God-given right to protect ourselves. Marion saw that girl with the hatchet. Yep. She's turned into a legend. I don't know her name. We need to know her name, and we need to follow that case. I heard she was arrested because somehow Europeans, wimpy whites, have given up their ability to defend themselves. The hell you are. Where is your spine to allow your kids to be abused by illegal alien invaders? The fuck is wrong with you? Grow a spine. And by the way, nothing is a weapon unless it's being used to harm somebody outside of self-defense. Otherwise, it's an extension of my soul. You don't fuck with my soul, you're not going to get the teeth. You want to come after me? There is no limit. There is no limit to what we can do to protect ourselves if we are being abused. We have no obligation to allow ourselves to be abused. So yeah, she's a hero, but anyone who watches mainstream media only has no idea about this story because they're not telling it. That's just shocking. Once again, it's the algorithm, the world that we're living in. If we're living in the world where we're following these stories, we're outraged about this. We know about this immediately. And we talk about it in context. Other people never saw it. Once again, we watch the unedited Kristi Noem thing. The other CBS viewers, they never heard it. They're living in two. Scott Adams, again, often talks about two movies playing on the same screen. We're watching two completely different versions of the movie, of reality. Two different movies playing on the same movie theater screen. And that's what Jeff Dye talked about. Hopefully I'll find that and scroll to that during today's show. All right. So I am yes, you are no posted this story from the Daily Mail. It looks like Iranian man who graped his lodger in London can't be deported. His lodger. Was that a roommate or a tenant or I don't know what that means, his lodger. Iranian demon, not man, who graped his lodger in London can't be deported in case he is persecuted in his homeland for being a convicted grapist. I'm yes, you or no says, is there a word for this? Mike Ben says, bloody, literally bloody hell. Dark stuff happening in the UK, says Mike Benz. And I'm going to ask, what does lodger mean? I don't speak lobster coat. Lodger. Is that roommate, tenant, landlord? I don't like lodger. I don't know. Lodger. That's a comment I left. Damn you, Al Gore, and your stupid, sexy Flanders. It's a Simpsons joke, and it's hilarious if you understand the concept. Stupid, sexy Flanders. Ah, that's good. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, how did demons steal the United Kingdom? And can they get their sanity and their country back? That's the question I'm asking. Is allegedly Germany. Secure.dc is saying this is Polizie. I don't know. Is that German? They're saying this is Germany, and migration has hit record levels across Europe. Germany is beginning to... But I think this video is from something else. This says these are football fans from HSV Hamburg, and they sing something. St. Pauli is the second and enemy football club from Hamburg. So I'm going to say, are you certain about this? Sure wish IG had grok. Tell us when a post is mislabeled. Couldn't post comment. It's important. Why can't I comment? Important context, if true. Won't let me comment. Okay, test comment worked. So this is just, they're speaking in English. Send them home, send them home. So I don't know. I'll ask, is this really Germany protesting an invasion of their country? Or is this old video from a sporting event? So that's my question. Every time I watch this, videos like this, I always wonder. It's like he's wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Yeah, Emma Mitchum says this is for a sporting event, not a political protest. I don't know. Okay, moving on. Raging West is saying 350,000 plus Australian patriots conquered 6 major cities today, demanding an end to mass migration. The silent majority is done being silent. There's stop immigration written in English. Why isn't it written in Australian? Is Australian a language? I mean, that's a lot of people. They're packing that whole area. I don't know if that's 350,000. I'm only seeing one video clip. Don't know if there's 6 major cities demanding an end to the invasion of their sovereign nation. Okay, video stopped. This person is an Australian. I'm still not convinced this hasn't been hijacked by the government and bad actors to exacerbate the move toward the surveillance state. Government is trying to tell the mainstream media that only a couple 100,000 turned up. I stand with the Australian patriots. Nationwide, probably closer to 500,000. The media is downplaying it, but decent scores nationwide. Proud of my country. Looks like the whole Western world is telling the UN we are no longer accepting your bullshit. All right. I can't quite tell the validity of the statements being made. Hey, I watched this and I found it super interesting. I know a lot of what we do is digging into the day's news, but I've never heard a bunch of these names, and I haven't really spent a ton of time thinking about this. But when I'm around a graveyard, I will spend some time in a graveyard. It just kind of reminds me of my own mortality. It's interesting. It's historical. It's peaceful. It's meditative. But check this out. Baby names you've never heard of in America. Music. Doggone it. Zero Webb, born in 1900. The name Zero. Husband. Mother, Florestine King, born in the 1880s. Eller, died in 1925. Lovey. Louis or Lovey? Willella, Willella, Exene Matthews, born in the 1880s. Look at this name. What is this? December 8, is that 1884? 1894? Andrew and Zanetta, Zannetta, Weird. Moy and Moxley. These names, Moy and Moxley? Galstian. Oh no, Rammer. Sidronia. Wife and mother Sidronia A. Solhaus. 1880s to 1982. Hey, she was 98 years old. Look at you. Alzorna. 1917. Yester. 1870s. Iverna. A lot of interesting names in the late 1800s. Artemis. Artemis. Oh, born in 1921, still kicking. Wait, still kicking. Makes you 104. Hold on, I'm going to leave that in the comments. Hold on now. Is Artemise 104 years old? Zero is a cool name. Asanath. J. Hayden, 1850s. Esmerencia. Oh my God, this is 3 names combined. It's not Esmeralda. It's not Balenciaga. It's not Louis something Iana. Esmerenciana, 1860s. Euphrasia. I feel like these are just blended, 2 or 3 names mixed together. Eufracia. Can I have the country of origin, please? Could you use it in a sentence? Euphrasia. Mahebtabel. 1890s. Mahetabel. Mahetabel. Nenet. Nenet. Actor. Actor. Erdix. 1880s. Erdix. Malin. Malone B. Huckins. 1860s. Veray. Bizel. Ariadne. I've heard of an Ariadne. That's a cool name. Eulalie. Eulalie. And Eulalie was her name. Eulalie NGO. Orison. Not Bison or Orion. Orison. C. Whitney. Orison C. Whitney. This is cool. Nunnally. Nunnally Johnson. Nunnally, first name. Heber. Ledley. Like Leslie, but Ledley. You know, I do wonder how many of these from the 1880s on new tombstones, maybe they were just etched in like maybe that was just Leslie, but the S faded and it looked like a D. Is that possible? Some of these names feel like almost names, but a little off. Gust. Like Gustavo Skrebic. Zero and Gust are excellent cat names. It's a cemetery in Los Angeles, California? What? Okay. Anyway, I found that super interesting because there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. How's in Los Angeles? Huh. Interesting. All right. Let's hear about when people say Christians kill people. Because you're gonna hear a bunch of arguments over like it's coming, it's here. There is a battle. Once again, unfortunately, religion is waging a battle across the globe. Now you can say Netanyahu created Hamas and Benjamin Netanyahu runs Hamas. I'm not going to take a stance on that. How could I possibly know the difference? But you can see that Hamas butchered 1,200 Israelis to start a holy war to destroy that whole country. Maybe some of you are in favor of that. Maybe some of you think it should have never been put there in 1947. I'm not here to debate that. But Hamas declaring a holy war against Israel seems like a holy war. Christians are being butchered right now. There are genocides, anti-Christian sentiment. And as Islam is trying to get footholds all across America, Dearborn, Michigan, and Texas, and different places, all across the UK, you're going to hear a demonization of Christianity. So let's compare and let's hear this take.
Christians kill people. Muslims kill people. Every religion has crazies that kill people. What I say is forget the followers. Let's look at the founders.
Okay. So I do you agree or disagree with that? Every religion has crazies that kill people. Okay. I could agree with that. I think there's crazies in every realm. Sure. But then he says, let's focus on the founders of the three religions.
Jesus never killed anybody.
Okay. True or false? Jesus never killed anybody. Okay.
Muhammad killed an estimated 3,000 people.
3,000 people estimated killed by Muhammad, they're saying.
Jesus never led armies. Muhammad led armies.
Jesus was not a warlord. He didn't lead armies. Muhammad was a warlord who led armies.
Jesus never owned slaves. Muhammad owned slaves. Jesus never
Really?
married.
Muhammad owned slaves and Jesus never owned slaves. That is so interesting in cancel culture. You hear about those evil old white men. Oh, in the 1700s, as was the custom of the time, People owned slaves, and people that had large properties had slaves working at their plantations. Those evil white men got to throw out all their great ideas and accomplishments because there was that original sin of America built on the backs of slaves, they'll say. Okay, let's talk about Muhammad. Did Muhammad have slaves?
Muhammad had anywhere from 11 to 22 wives.
11 to 22 wives. Now, he's saying Jesus never married, and there's obviously that story. Mary Magdalene, maybe Jesus did have a bloodline. There's those thoughts. That's not part of official canon. But what was actually edited out at the Council of Nicaea? Did we get everything or some of it? 11 to 22 wives for Muhammad.
Jesus never tortured anybody. Jesus didn't lie. Muhammad permitted lying. If you feel threatened by an infidel, you can lie to them.
If you feel threatened by an infidel, you can lie to them. Jesus never lied. Huh. I'll say interesting and important conversation. Now compare with the founder of Judaism. All right, Andrew Tate has a take on the EU, the European Union. What say you about the UK? Love Andrew Tate, hate Andrew Tate. I don't know, but just listen to the words.
I left England 10 years ago because it was finished. And when I left, everybody called me crazy. They said, we'll sort it out. We'll just vote in one new government. We'll sort it out, quickly sort this place out, blah, blah, blah. I was right. It's finished. I saw the writing on the wall a decade ago. And now look at the place. In the sewer. Property prices in the sewer. The pound in the sewer. NHS finished. Living standards done. Inflation through the roof. Taxes through the roof. And when somebody points out the very obvious point that anyone with a brain is thinking, that you can't keep letting in people to take more of the native people's money, the native people who've been brainwashed by the media then attack this person. Like, this is suicidal. You can't even help these people. If you had somebody in the UK to fix the mess, they think he's the bad guy. England has lost its mind. The population has lost its mind. There's a bunch of idiot white people sitting around begging to be replaced, begging to pay taxes, to pay for other people from another nation who speak another language and have no interest in adding to your society to live. And when
we said we call this plan of intentional colonization the Obama doctrine. We call those people wimpy whites on the TNAM Daily Show. We'll share this clip and discuss tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. Look at us. Look at us advertising on the side there. Woohoo! Yeah, London is London.
When you point this out, you're somehow what, racist? You want to call these people racist? I'm brown, bro. You white people have lost your fucking minds.
Wimpy whites. It's been a shame campaign from day one. All right, well, let's talk about Roblox again. I finally reached out yesterday. I don't know. I was sitting with this story and then I got distracted. I sort of forgot about it, came back to it. I'm like, no, I need to reach out while I'm thinking about it. Anybody that you know, any kid that you know under the age of 18 that could be playing this, could be encountering creeps like this, and you should probably have a talk with them about it. And you should probably be overseeing what's going on.
How deep all that shit goes, right? That, you know, you're a parent, you know Roblox, or Robux. So Roblox has their own currency called Robux. I know this. I have kids. I was buying them Robux. There are predators on this game, adults that are going.
There's music. Adults are going on the game, literally giving kids Robux to go in the bathroom and take pictures of themselves. A lot of them are getting sextorted. If you don't do this, this, and this, I'm going to spread these on the internet, or I'm going to send these to your parents and show them what you're doing, or I'm going to report you to the police for giving me child corn. And a child doesn't understand that, holy F, this is a predator who just got child corn sent to him. He's going to be in trouble, not me. They feel like they have to do it. And then the things that they're asking them to do, some of these cases, if you look at it, it's so horrific. I need you to take pictures or video of you doing this to your younger siblings. Dude, this is so... Look at that hat. Make pedophiles afraid again. I might want to get one of those hats. And in some cases, I want you to do things with your household pets. Can we please get back to executing people for abusing kids? Just full fair trial. Everybody's innocent unless proven guilty. And, you know, I'd have to see a very compelling case. It's so easy to put stuff onto somebody's laptop or something. It's like, it's one of the easiest, most manipulatable. You know, I don't want to say you have to catch them in the act. But how could you hear a story like this and not want to instantly string this person up when they're found guilty in the town square? Put it on PayPal or put it on pay-per-view. Hey, do you want to see us erase a bunch of kid diddlers, abusers, child abusers? You want to see us take down some creeps, some demons, exorcise some demons? You know. That's what I want to see. We really need to start deleting the demons.
Sorting literal children into doing sexual acts with other children. And
you know, they say that certain communities aren't reproducing because they just can't based on their proclivities. And that they have to groom a new generation to replace them because they're not having families. And you look at the decline in birth rate, for example. Look at the decline in the birth rate in America. And it's not really Republicans who are having fewer children. It's Democrats. So like they're not really creating more Democrats. And pedos, it's almost like you have to steal the innocence of a child to destroy that child, to create another destroyed child like you were probably. You don't usually accidentally wake up as a demon pedo. Usually you were harmed by somebody. And it breaks your soul. It splinters your soul into like breaking a mirror. I've heard it described that way. And that's, you know, you don't really get a do-over if you break a child's mirror. You only get one. You're only born with one. You can't undo that. But trying to blackmail and bribe someone Epstein style to abuse more kids for kicks.
pets. This shit.
And pets. To do things to pets. I am aghast at this story.
It's crazy. And instead of addressing it, Roblox has tried to hit Ruben Sim, who exposed them, with a $1.6 million lawsuit, which he won, but they banned him off the platform, permanently banned him off the platform. Then Schlepp came along, and Schlepp was busting predators, getting them arrested. He was reporting every single thing that he was doing.
To pause it. Why did they bring music back in? He was reporting it to Roblox, giving them the opportunity to address it, and he was groomed at 12 years old on Roblox. He grew up on the game, groomed on the game. So this was his passion. He worked with Alex Rosen for a while. He worked with Gideon.
6 arrests.
That's 6 arrests, felony arrests. These dudes are going to prison. They were all Roblox predators. And what do? They banned his account. They told him he's never allowed to have another account. They hit him with a cease and desist. I immediately got him and Ruben Sim on a live. They started talking about it, got it in front of Chris Hansen. Hansen's currently working on a documentary about it with Schlepp. I don't know what that means. Contact with Ruben Sim. I don't know who these people are. As soon as I find out about it, I don't know what he's talking about.
You know how deep all that shit.
Anyway, simply aghast at this story. Pure demonic actions. Yeah, the evil is getting bold. Man. So if you got any kids playing Roblox, you need to be instantly aware of this right now. Because the kids want to do things and the game locks you out of stuff. But if you have Robux, you can play it. So you're playing, you're like, oh, I want to do this. And you're in a chat with someone and they're like, hey, I have some Robux. I want some Robux. I want to get a thing. All right, do this thing for me. Fucking creeps, dude. I mean, you should grab them by their ear, the scruff of their neck, lift them up, walk them right to the gallows. Abuse a kid, try to break that kid's mirror, the only one they're born with, you monster. So be careful. Now, I've never watched Dexter, or maybe I watched a few minutes. I'm like, it didn't, or an episode or something. I was like, But is there a Dexter where it's just going after kid abusers? I would probably watch that. If they didn't make it too difficult to watch. I would imagine that'd be too difficult to watch. May the Lord bless the people that have to get inside these realms to track these monsters down. You probably have to consume a lot of poison yourself. Blah. All right, the British Patriot here. Tells you protests across Australia have erupted. 500,000 patriots on the street across the country demanding re-migration. Australia has woken up. Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, and Brisbane, allegedly. Sounds like they're saying ziggy zaki, oi, oi, oi. Steve Lodge in the comments says Islam is incompatible with the West. They have no intention of assimilating into any Western culture. Their plan all along has been to destroy Western civilization and your heritage. Either you stand against their culture of draconian oppression and evil, or you lose your country. So what are you going to do? There's a fair comment. Everyone thinks Israel is the problem, and there's a lot of that going on. But that's just a distraction, says Cody Hakimian. But that's just a distraction from the real problem. Why does no Arab country take Palestinian refugees, and why do all Arab refugees only want to go to Western countries? Demanding deportation of illegals. There, I fixed your headline. Here's a comment. Trump has awakened people around the world. Yeah, Trump helped. Dude, they tried to blow Trump up on TV, and he stood up and said, fight, fight, fight. If you don't fight, everything's gone. Everything's over. It's game over, man. Game over. Question of the day, what's that from? Pop culture reference. Game over, man. Game over. Marion said Dexter was difficult to watch. I saw some episodes, then I had to stop watching. Yeah, I mean, I was watching The Boys. The Boys is pretty interesting about superheroes and soups. Seth Rogen does it, so it gets a little gory and a little gross and a little graphic, and it, Game of Thrones the same way and some other stuff, and it's just like it's a little uncomfortable. It's a little too much. It's a little too graphic for graphics' sake. And there's certain shit I kind of just don't want in my mind. Certain scenery, images. I don't know. I felt a while ago that if we expose ourselves to too much of that shit, and it doesn't take a lot to be too much if it's really messed up, it's just maybe not good. And I suppose the same can be said for pornography, right? The more images you put into your head, the more it hardwires your brain a different way. But yeah, Australia. It's another country that's tired of the progressive liberal bullshit. Nice. DC Drano says the West is waking up. Wherever America goes, the world goes. Yeah, Trump showed them how to grow a spine. Stand up and fight, or else there's going to be nothing left. Where America goes, the world goes, and America is shutting down illegal immigration and mass deporting them. Other countries will follow us, and we will support them. If you deport oh, that's a good line right there. I'm going to I'm going to type that. If you deport them, we must support them. Go back to where you came from. Remember when you were told that was oh, you can't say that. How dare you? That's the most racist thing you can say. Everybody comes from somewhere. It also doesn't matter where you come from if you're a monster. It doesn't matter what flying spaghetti monster in the sky you worship. If you're a monster, you're a monster. I don't want unknown Chinese people in America. I don't want unknown Russians or Ukrainians in America. I don't want unknown Palestinians or Israelis in America. I don't want anyone unknown just waltzing across our border acting like they own the place. No. I want to find out if you got a criminal record, and we should think twice before letting you hang out with our family. Period. And there's nothing wrong in saying that. There's something wrong with the people trying to keep you from saying the obvious. Hey, before you drink this glass of water, would you like to run it through this Berkey filter real quick? Make sure we filtered out the poison. Although I know poison isn't filtered out, but would you like to run your stream water through water purification device before you consume it? Yes, please. There's a UK free speech crackdown, and up to 30 people a day are now being arrested for petty offenses such as retweets and cartoons. Reported on by the New York Post. Check this out.
She's 138 and needs some TLC. The crusty toes, the gown, the crown. She needs a pedicure. Our copper and brass restoration kit has everything you need. No job is too big or too small. She even gave us a smile, which isn't too bad for a New Yorker.
Which isn't too bad for a New Yorker. I mean, I know this was like a great advertisement here, maybe used by AI. Great advertisement. But then again, Dom Lucree says Americans who are trying to organize a national movement to clean the Statue of Liberty next year for America's 250th anniversary have started uploading videos of what they envision the statue would look like if they accomplish their goal. I don't know if that's what it is, but that appeared to be a very effective advertisement. Actually, almost effective. I forget the name of the product they were advertising. That's how you know that it worked, if you can remember the polish name. But yeah, should we try cleaning that? I'm very intrigued now. You know, America needs an enema. I got to clean everything out. I don't know. Is it possible? I mean, that statue sits there on the shores, the salty shores. I mean, is there any way to keep it shiny? I doubt it, but it's interesting. Clean the country up nice. Give it a nice once over for our 250th birthday party next year. Sounds kind of fun, actually. Over here in England, this is the point of view when your dad's had enough. They're clipping down all these Palestinian Hamas flags. What do you mean? They're not Palestinian / Hamas. They're two totally separate entities. Are they? So across England, clipping down these foreign flags that are flying for some unknown reason. Clipping them. Repelling the invasion, are ye? This looks like The Simpsons, right? Kenneth, this is from The Simpsons, isn't it? What do they call it? Shady Acres Mental Institution? Or do they call it, maybe they've changed it. I forget the name. I'm going to ask Grok. Name of the insane asylum in The Simpsons. No, Shady Acres is the retirement home. Oh, it's New Bedlam. There we go. New Bedlam. New crazy. Before the woke lived, I'm sorry, let me screw that up. Here's where the woke lived before the 1970s. He just lived in an insane asylum. Can we bring that back, please? David saying the statue came from French Freemasonry. Yeah, the French Revolution went very differently than the American Revolution. But yeah, there were a lot of. Yeah, I was looking into who this lady actually is. There's a lot of theories. There's a lot of stories about that. Very interesting stuff. Absolutely. Fascinating topics. Is that what that was from? Shady Acres from Happy Gilmore. You will go to sleep or I will put you to sleep. Okay, yeah, I did just watch the Happy Gilmore sequel. Anyone here? Raise your hand. Did you watch the Happy Gilmore sequel? What did you think of it? There's some pretty good cameos in there. I'm glad they did it. It wasn't the funniest thing I'd ever seen, but there were a few laughs in it. Like a lot of Adam Sandler's movies. I think they had a big mistake not getting Tiger Woods in it by all costs. Like whatever it would have taken to just put Tiger in it, that would have been felt necessary or needed. All right. Pete Hegseth wants to give us an update. Let me go back and then start it.
The Department of Defense was made aware of an Obama-Biden era legacy program called...
Okay. Obama-Biden legacy program. Have you heard of this? Can you believe this?
Called digital escorts. For nearly a decade, Microsoft has used Chinese coders, remotely supervised by U.S. contractors, to support sensitive DoD cloud systems. The program was designed to comply with contracting rules, but it exposed the department to unacceptable risk. I mean, if you're thinking America first and common sense, this doesn't pass either of those tests. So I initiated an immediate review of this vulnerability, and I want to report our initial findings. So the use of Chinese nationals to service Department of Defense cloud environments, it's over. We've issued a formal letter of concern to Microsoft documenting this breach of trust, and we're requiring a third-party audit of Microsoft's digital escort program, including the code and the submissions by Chinese nationals. This audit will be free of charge for U.S. taxpayers. I'm also tasking the Department of Defense experts with a separate investigation of the digital escort program and the Chinese Microsoft employees that were involved in it. These investigations will help us determine the impact of this digital escort workaround. Did they put anything in the code that we didn't know about? We're going to find out. Additionally, all Department of Defense software vendors will identify and terminate any Chinese involvement in DoD systems. It blows my mind that I'm even saying these things. It's such common sense that we ever allowed it to happen. That's why we're attacking it so hard. We expect vendors doing business with the Department of Defense to put U.S. national security ahead of profit maximization. I'm committed, like the president is, to ensuring that our national security networks are secure. Again, it's America first, and it's common sense. This never should have happened in the first place, but once we found out about it, we've attacked it aggressively from the beginning, and we're going to follow all the way through the tape to make sure that this is addressed. So DoD is working in conjunction as well with our partners in the rest of the federal government to ensure that all U.S. networks are protected. God bless.
Microsoft is also the designer of the software operating system for the Chinese People's Liberation Army. Let that sink in. Conflict of interest, you think? Goodness. So much Bill Gates. So many problems. Why are we tolerating this? Speaking of why are we tolerating this? Oh, before we get to that, Marion says, Happy Gilmore 2 was funny and great cameos. Loved the jail scene. Yeah, Scotty Scheffler. He got arrested right here in Louisville. That was a big deal. Well, you know, Europe on Top says this African Aaron Hadj, who sexually assaulted a teenage girl with special needs in broad daylight, is jailed for 14 months. British taxi driver Andrew McIntyre was sentenced to 90 months in prison for social media posts about Southport. In UK, everything works the other way around. Is this verified as accurate? Wish we could ask Grok in the comments here. But this stuff is happening all across Europe, which is why people are furious. It's like, don't you dare come into my house and harm anybody under my roof. In Japan, there are protests against mass immigration. So, I mean, I don't quite know the context, and I can't ask Grok, but this was shared from Wall Street Citizen. The comment here, you know it's getting bad when they break out the Imperial Japanese flag. Okay, so maybe that's accurate. Maybe it's not. Don't know. But all these stories are going around right now.
Who remembers the Ariana Grande concert where a man detonated a bomb via suicide vest and killed 22 people at Manchester Arena? Well, what if I told you all of that was avoidable? And it wasn't just avoidable. All of that was actually paid for by the taxpayer, including the bomb. Meet the Abidi family, asylum seekers to the UK from Libya. They were all welfare recipients, and the one who did it, the son, Salman Abidi, actually traveled back and forth to Libya, where it is believed that he joined ISIS. So he is seeking asylum from a country that's so bad that he is traveling to and from on the taxpayer dime. A few days after the bomb went off at the Manchester Arena and Salman sacrificed himself in the name of Allah, his dad, Ramadan Abidi, went on the news and said it wasn't his fault. He says his son didn't do it, despite him being the one to have radicalized his family. And he screamed, you guessed it, racism. And this family affair is not over, as his brother, Hashem Abidi, helped him build the bomb. He was sentenced to life in prison. But in his first year in prison, he attacked prison guards violently, so then he got moved to a more secure prison, a prison for the extremely dangerous. But a few months ago, he attacked more prison guards with boiling butter and makeshift knives from the kitchen. How is this man, this dangerous man, allowed access to makeshift knives and boiling butter in a secure prison, you might ask? Well, recent reports suggest that Islamist gangs are taking over Britain's jails. And there's nothing
taking over the jails. What is going on with Great Britain? Why is there no spine?
Guards can do about it. It's not over. There is another brother called Ishmael, and Ishmael was supposed to give evidence regarding how they built the bomb. But Ishmael disappeared. We have no idea where he went. The UK government lost him. Where are his parents now? Well, they went back to Libya, the country that was so bad they had to seek asylum from. But they didn't leave the UK until they pocketed £17,000 worth of benefits from the taxpayer. How did they buy the ingredients to build the bomb in the first place? A credit card paid for by the taxpayer. This
I can't speak to the validity of these claims. I can tell you that this is somebody who's making this report because she says she's done the research on it. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But if you are literally paying for the destruction of your own country, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know how everybody can't see this for what it is. It is a clear and present danger to everyone.
Is what you vote for. 22 deaths that were preventable, that were possible because of leftist ideologies. Who remembers that?
I remember that Ariana Grande concert. That was a main turning point for the new American media. When we got banned, we went live. We did like a 10, 15-minute report. Gave you the breaking details. Just here's, we don't know a lot a few moments after this occurred, but we'll give you what we have to consider. And then we'll tell you, hey, if you're at an event, here's what you should think of doing. And you want to be safe and have a backup plan. Let's meet here. Let's send each other a text message about where we parked, so we both have it in our phones if we get lost, or here's the gate that we're going to meet at if we can't meet at if we get separated, if something happens, where's the closest emergency exit. I just did a preparedness show. YouTube took my video down and said that it's sensitive content or some bullshit like that. And every video on the suggested video list, it was ABC, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, whatever it was, CBS, all of them reporting on the Ariana Grande attack. I wasn't allowed to report on it and give actual tangible evidence-based information about how to prepare yourself in case you're out at a large event and how you protect your family. And God forbid if this happens to you, let's learn from it together. YouTube took that video down. And so essentially that's the censorship industrial complex that I've been fighting for 14 years. And so they took our ability to get advertising revenue from us. It's really shitty what's happened to the new American media, to our company, to myself. Really discriminated against and kept from earning an income doing what I love to do. I should be able to report on the same story that everybody else is. But the Obama doctrine infiltrating all of social media, that was 12 out of the last 16 years were very, very, very dark. Let's just call it 16 years of darkness. Because we watched Obama weaponize every aspect of federal government against his political opponents. That includes all of legacy media with the lying legacy media with the Smith-Mundt Act, reversing that so that they could spread propaganda and lies. And silencing people that are telling the truth, inconvenient truths, so that we can't pay our bills creating content. Oh, if it's the news, you can't cover all of the important topics. And if you have the wrong opinion, if you have wrong think, some purple-haired angry lady with real thick glasses in Cupertino, yeah, they can say, oh no, Brian and the new American media, we're going to delete that Ariana Grande video. It's like sensitive or something. It's a sensitive topic. No, everybody else can do it because they're authoritative sources. They've earned the right to be able to report on the news by lying and dishing out propaganda that we tell them, is essentially what that amounted to. See, I'm familiar with Ariana Grande. I just didn't realize I didn't quite. The bomb was paid for by taxpayers. Meet the Abedi family, asylum seekers to the UK from Libya. Comment here, because they're not asylum seekers, they're invaders. Oh, geez. Yes. This question, who remembers the attacks in Paris at the Bataclan in France of 2015? The victims weren't just shot, they were mutilated and horrifically tortured. Were they really? Didn't see that in the papers. No, most of the attacks that followed that year, I was living there. We were in a state of emergency for the year. We interviewed their singer. about that on our YouTube channel. I'm curious now. I'm not sure I want to know if that's accurate. Oh, it's been debated, conflicting reports. Islamic State terrorist attacks killed 90 and injured hundreds using ARs and suicide vests with acetone peroxide explosives. Indiscriminately firing, targeting people in the bar, in the stalls, on the balconies. 2.5-hour assault. Gunmen reloading multiple times and shouting about French airstrikes against the Islamic State. Police stormed the venue, and then the attackers either detonated the vests or were shot. Okay. Anyway, I interviewed, was it Jesse from Eagles of Death Metal? The musician who was on stage during that attack. It's on our YouTube channel. I wonder if I can find it. Since we discussed it, I want to leave the Easter egg. Where's my interview? I typed my name in the band. See, that's just fucking nuts. I typed Engelman, Eagles of Death Metal. They will not show my interview. How far down do I have to scroll to find it? I mean, can I even find it? Look at how far down they buried this. Do you see this?
All right, everybody, Brian Engelman here at 2017 NAMM Convention, Anaheim, California. We're here with Jesse Hughes with Eagles of Death Metal. Jesse, thanks for taking a moment to say hello.
Thank you so much.
Hey, so tell us why you've been with Orange for so many years. What is it about their product that fits the style that you play?
Well, first, before I had a style, I had people that I wanted to be like.
So we talk about gear. Maybe not the right moment to ask questions of that level. Oh no, halfway through, we ask about the attacks at the Bataclan. It's an important topic that none of us ever want to see replicated ever again. Can't defend against a future incident unless we are fully aware of this previous incident. Thanks for watching. Either way. Oh, someone helped me put this together. Did Chris help me put this together? Yes, Chris edited this. That's right. And Mike Spryer filmed it.
Tone is badass. But you were talking about...
But you can't kill...
Sorry that happened. Can you just tell me, playing all over the world, and I got to ask you, I know you've probably been through this 100 times over the past year and a half, the night of the Bataclan shooting. If you can walk me just through... This is a while later now. You lived through just a crazy experience. Can you just tell me what your takeaway is this much time later? You guys walked through the other side of something tragic. I'm so sorry that happened, but I just want to get your thoughts on it if you've had a little bit of time to reflect.
Well, of course. Of course I've had time to reflect. Bad people do bad shit, but you can't kill rock and roll.
Did you hear that? That is such a great line. I need to write that down. I should chop. I should. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that line.
Experience. Can you just tell me what your takeaway is this much time later? You guys walked through the other side of something tragic. I'm so sorry that happened, but I just want to get your thoughts on it if you've had a little bit of time to reflect.
Well, of course I've had time to reflect. Bad people do bad shit, but you can't kill rock and roll. And the good guys never sleep, so neither am I.
And you saw that they were performing, and then they jumped because people started shooting in that crowd.
The good guys never sleep, so neither am I. And the bad guys never sleep, so I'm not.
40 minutes into the set, they open fire. Bad guys never sleep, so neither am I.
I've seen nothing but the most beautiful examples of humanity. My faith in humanity has actually been restored.
Has it really?
By this, absolutely.
So you've seen the lowest of the lows, and you've seen the phoenix rising from the ashes, man.
I'm not a why me kind of guy. Why not me? And why not me? What makes me any different than anyone else? Nobody deserves or doesn't deserve any bad shit to happen. It happens.
I love this dude's perspective. What an awesome bad guys never sleep, so neither will I. Why not me? Bad things happen. Nobody deserves it. I'm not going to say I forgot about this interview, but
it's what you do afterwards that matters. Every step you're able to take walking through the valley of the shadow of death is a gift and a special one. And you get judged by the last thing you do. You don't get judged by the first thing you do. A man leaves the world, a woman leaves the world being what they are right when they die, not what they were when they were 20. So I want to be.
Did you see that part right there? They came back, just like Trump did in Butler, Pennsylvania. They came back to the Bataclan to finish their show in front of a packed house.
Or when they were 20. So I want to
never give in, never give up, never surrender, never back down, never let a bully abuse people you care about. Never let a bully abuse anybody, because it's going to spread like a cancer.
Be something that's able to look my mother in the eye, and I want to be something that's able to take my word to my grave, and I want to be something that people are able to trust. And I am that. And only because I play rock and roll and I have the greatest family of rock and rollers that love my music was I able to get through it and sustain myself. I believe in rock and roll didn't let me down. And companies like Orange were there for me. I mean, as a person, the company from the top down, from the owner down, is quality.
I could imagine the phone calls you had to have gotten in that next month.
Yeah, but the lesson, everyone called me, but the lessons I learned are that don't give up hope on rock and roll. People are amazing. The companies like Orange, Maiden are filled with stellar people who do good, honest business, and full that I got to live a life where I got to be a part of that.
Like you were saying, that rock and roll wins out. And to me, I heard that saying that's the biggest middle finger possible to anybody that doesn't like our way of life. They can suck it.
Success is the best vengeance.
Of course, absolutely. Well, hey, real quick, give us the last place you want people to check out online to find out what you're up to next.
www.hustler.com. Just kidding.
That's my site.
www. I think it's.
Wait, that's my site.
Eagles of Death. Just check the Google machine.
Do the Googling and this stuff. No, but I think you're dead on to that.
Hey, Mom.
It is living right and success is the best middle. How did you phrase it? I don't want to screw it up again.
I don't remember.
It's the best middle finger possible to some idiot.
Success is the best vengeance.
Of course. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
That was good editing. Chris put this together. More original music from my brother here. Eagles of Death Metal. Man, did I forget about that? Sorry, right here from the comments, who remembers the attacks at the Bataclan in France in 2015? I mean, we can't forget just how bad things were toward, that second Obama term when he didn't have to get elected. And you saw ISIS going on these rampages, and it was like, is Obama the leader? Is that what we're watching here? Is that really what we're like? What in hell is happening? Hell, very specifically used in that term. But yeah, wow, that was a blast from the past. Nice editing job from my brother on that one. Anyway, all right. So the Ariana Grande concert was paid for by the UK from asylum seekers from Libya. Nick Freitas puts this out, and let's make sure that we're addressing the conversations that are foisted upon us properly. People say, why are you so divisive? Asks the woke leftist who insists that I celebrate boys and girls bathrooms, chemical castration medicine for gender-confused 10-year-olds, and drag queen story hour for elementary students. I've got news for you. You're the divisive one. 40 seconds ago, we all understood that things like this were ridiculous, dangerous, or both. Then you decided that this would be a core component of your political philosophy and decided to try and use the full force of the state to push it. My divisiveness is a response to your insanity. You want to end the divisiveness? Stop pushing radical nonsense on kids. Someone says this page isn't libertarian. Protecting kids is the most libertarian thing we can do. Do no harm. That's the cornerstone. All right. Do we have illegal aliens on our voter rolls?
We know that
This is Joe Von Hutton Pulitzer.
Have illegals on our voter rolls. Now, when we get to the midterms, and here's how you know they're going to do it, folks. Right now, you could go look at and just put in number of votes Kamala got in the 2024 election. On election night, she had 68 million votes and change, which is about the same as Obama. But remember, we had Biden with 81 million votes. Since our election, which was well over a half a year ago, she has somehow magically risen to over 75 million votes. They just keep on adding and keep on adding. So what they're doing is they're going back and validating that Biden's numbers were real. Well, the way they did this is we have a ton of bad voters on the voter rolls, and we have probably as many as 8 million illegal aliens that have been dropped into the voter rolls. Now,
I'm sorry, we could have as many as 8 million people not eligible to vote who are trying to steal our country?
This doesn't mean they're going to vote. It means you can count a vote by them. Yeah. You can mail them a ballot. And if it comes in, it's going to be counted. So let's just take that one. Since the states are the only ones that have the power to technically clean their voter rolls. All the president has to do, and I know he watches, and I hope you understand this, Mr. President, by just acknowledging the fact that our election systems have been infiltrated and are compromised.
Oh, I feel very uncomfortable.
And certainly can't be trusted, especially when we can't count them right. What?
And they say, oh, you can't have access to this, the algorithm and our, I don't know, what do they call it? Our code. Well, that's proprietary. Excuse me. You're not keeping a single secret from we, the people. If you're supposed to be trusted to count our elections, why would anyone outsource that? Put it on paper, shrink wrap it into a box once it's sealed and keep it for 7 years and make sure there's a Republican and a Democrat to both sign off on it. And everything's under video surveillance and all that footage is kept elsewhere and everybody has duplicate copies and nothing. We don't have systems like that. Of course, they're not trustworthy.
What can be done is he can use the states, which are the only ones with constitutional authority to do it. But by claiming credible intel, which they've already done, that we have foreign infiltration detected, then the president can actually mobilize federal agencies, and that would be Department of Homeland Security, CISA, which is a joke, Department of Justice, FBI, etc. Now, with that, if he invokes the Emergency Powers Act,
isn't making sure that our elections are rock solid, wouldn't that be important? Wouldn't that be an emergency? I would say so.
That's what I talked about, the National Emergencies Act, the Stafford Act, or the Defense Protection Act, because it all affects our country. Then what he can do is he can start pressuring the states to say, you have to deal with this, or more importantly, you have to prove that your voter rolls do not contain illegal aliens.
You see the difference there. There's a big difference between proving something's there and proving it's not. The onus needs to be on proving, showing your work. Write down your work. I don't want the answer. I want to see how you got to the answer. Show your work, they would say in math class. You have to prove that you're not vulnerable to cheating. Otherwise, we're assuming that you are.
Who by our Constitution do not have the right to vote. It basically says you have to prove it. And it's not a memo saying we don't have any. They actually have to prove it. Now, what will happen is he can authorize those agencies to ride roughshod, just like Elon Musk did with Doge, checking out the voter rolls. They can share intelligence. The government can fund it and do it. Now, what happens if he in fact finds it, which he will, then he would have enough power to force Congress to act on it. We know that we have illegals on our voter rolls. Now, when we get to the midterms, and here's how you know they're going to do it, folks. Right now, you could go look at and just put in number of votes Kamala got in the 2024 election. On election night, she had 68 million votes and change, which was about the same as Obama. But remember, we had Biden with 81 million votes. Since our election, which was well over a half a year ago, she has somehow magically risen to over 75 million votes. They just keep on adding and keep on adding. So what they're doing is they're going back and validating that Biden's numbers were real. Well, the way they did this is we have a ton of bad voters on the voter rolls, and we have probably as many as 8 million illegal aliens that have been dropped into the voter rolls. Now, this doesn't mean they're going to vote. It means you can count a vote by them. Yeah. You can mail them a ballot. And if it comes in, it's going to be counted. So
you don't mail ballots out willy-nilly to anybody, to everybody. Absolutely not. No way.
Let's just take that one, since the states are the only ones that have the power to technically clean their voter rolls. All the president has to do, and I know he watches, and I hope you understand this, Mr. President, by just acknowledging.
All right. That's okay that happened twice. It's worth noting. All right, in Colombia, Medellin, 2 orbs for the price of 1 filmed seemingly racing each other. Orb races. How do you feel about that? Oh, and there's music in the background, so I got to mute it, I guess. Look at those 2 circles up there. Not entirely certain what we're watching, but those don't seem like aircraft we're familiar with, does it? Our elections will not be cured by blue pills. Are you suffering from prolonged election? That's good. See, that's good right there. I could use that. AF Post is reporting. Hang on. Why is this frozen? Come on, device. You got this. Come on, device. You got this. All right. You know what? I want to do a skit on that. Are you suffering from prolonged election? If so, take these little red pills. Take the red pill, the Republican pill. Yeah, not the blue pill. All right, so AF Post here is saying it's an open secret that CIA Director John Ratcliffe is controlled by Mossad. Bannon made the comment on Getter regarding an NBC article detailing Tulsi Gabbard's struggle with Ratcliffe after Gabbard removed security clearances of CUA officers. Keep your eyes peeled on Ratcliffe. All right, this is Clay Travis talking about how the left's toxic empathy is hurting everyone.
Should have a real significant investigation into trans medical treatments, because I think the vast majority of people who are trans, almost all of them, are suffering from a major mental illness. It is not kind. It is not kind to tell people who are dealing with mental illness that their mental illness is justified and real.
You understand what happens when you start enforcing that? At least if I know I'm having a break with reality, I can then address it. But if you're telling me I talked about it before, I'm Spider-Man. Take a look. I'm going to jump out this window and shoot my web and sling across the sky and jump onto that other building over there. What's compassionate? What's empathetic to say, hey, buddy, come on down off that ledge. Let's talk. Let's go hang out. Come here for a second. I want to show you something really cool. Come here. That's empathy. Like, no, please don't harm yourself. There's no empathy if you're like, all right, let's see it. I want to watch. Like a creepo.
Wouldn't tell a schizophrenic person, oh, you know what? I do see those invisible figures. I do hear voices myself too. You're right. You wouldn't tell somebody with bulimia or anorexia, hey, you're right. You should be skinnier. You would not affirm and validate their mental illness. In doing so, you would actually be violating your Hippocratic oath as a doctor, the first rule of which is
do no harm.
Do no harm. When you are telling someone, hey,
and do no harm is the libertarian stance. Do as thou wilt, but do no harm. You can't do what you want to if it's harming people. That's breaking the non-aggression principle.
You're a different gender than you actually are, and it is real. You are affirming their mental illness, and you're making it worse. It is not kind. It is, in fact, toxic empathy to lie to people and make them worse off than they otherwise would be.
I mean, what say you? Do you agree with Clay Travis? I agree completely. All right, Johnny Maga's reporting. Hey, David Bann, welcome back to the club. Welcome back into the program, sir. You were saying here's another week and, still no arrests, right? Well, take a look preemptively. According to reports, Robert Mueller's family is saying that he has Parkinson's disease, and that's going to prevent him from testifying before Congress over his handling of Epstein-related investigations as the FBI director. How convenient. And they say that's what Biden's going to claim. He's still guilty of treason. All right, what's this post? Michael Schmidt here. That's weird that something different showed up when I posted that. Yes, Clay Travis is 100% correct. Yeah, true compassion looks like trying to help someone, not encouraging delusions. David agrees. Yeah. Protecting people is a little different. Robert Mueller was diagnosed with Parkinson's 4 years ago, has had difficulty speaking in recent months, and because of that, cannot comply with a request to testify before a congressional committee investigating the government's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein investigations. per New York Times through Michael Schmidt. President Trump says of what's happening with Gavin Newsom. Let me click this. Trump says, can you imagine being so stupid as to destroy one of the best areas in the United States by building low-income housing there? The people must be having a fit. And I'll say low-income LA area housing needs to be in the desert where nobody wants to live and have a solid public transportation system in place. Make it happen. Gavin's trying to allow that land to be stolen up in a land grab. All right, so here's Mike Benz and Elon Musk collaborating. Look at Bloomberg. Elon says, shame on Mike Bloomberg for pushing civilizational destruction. So Bloomberg has two different articles. Look at this. Number one says, want to slow climate change? Stop having babies. Bloomberg, only immigrants can reverse America's baby bust. Oh, really? Could your agenda be any more crystal clear? You want Americans to stop reproducing. You want to replace Americans with illegal aliens. This is a coordinated invasion. This is not accidental. This is not tragic. This is not organic. This is the deep state Democrat plan. Mike Benz says it's wild when you see it spelled out like that. This is the plan being pushed through hashtag the Obama doctrine. Yeah, they don't even hide it. I repeat, this is not replacement theory. Yeah, derp. Music here. Yeah, I touched on this before, but talking about Gavin Newsom and the California coast, Grant Cardone says it's official. California is a land grab. Just informed by FEMA in California, if your home was affected by fires and required to spend more than you are required to spend more than 50% of the previous home's value. You will be forced to raise the entire property structure to new flood water requirements. I will be forced to raise a perfectly good property 3 to 4 feet at cost of $40 to $50 million. This will make it impossible for anyone to rebuild anything, adding years to completion. Everything the California government suggested about coastal approvals, fast tracking, etc., was a lie. Can President Trump help speed up the rebuild and restore some sanity here? Because California's cooked. Like they don't really know how to fix things. It's almost like everything they're doing is making everything worse. All right, so here's some logic as the lying legacy media and the teachers union, your liberal friends, here's what they want you to think about things.
If we make guns illegal, then nobody will get shot. That's how we stopped everybody from doing drugs.
What?
Want to stop drunk drivers from killing sober drivers? Ban sober drivers. That's how gun control works. So talking to adults at work about sex is sexual harassment, but talking to kids at school about sex is necessary? Strange times.
And by the way, that's not just like birds and bees basic stuff. It's like all sorts of weird groomer stuff.
If guns kill people, I guess forks make people fat? Apparently there's only one Major League Baseball team that does not host a Pride Night. That team just won the World Series. We're so back. Ask not why the children shouldn't see drag queens. Ask why drag queens crave an audience of children.
Okay. They're trying to groom people.
Yeah, it was the craziest thing. The last election, my grandpa voted Democrat for the first time ever. Would have never happened if he was still alive. So Gen Z thought they were getting their student loans forgiven, but looks like they're getting drafted into World War III. Be careful who you vote for. Okay, it looks like coronavirus is making a comeback, so remember the rules. If you go to a party, you get thrown in jail because coronavirus. But if you're in jail, they'll let you out because coronavirus.
That's a classic.
Why is it when a liberal expresses their opinion, it's freedom of speech,
yes,
but when a conservative expresses their opinion, hate speech? If we make guns...
Hate speech. It's well done. I like those ideal. This is a fantastic compilation. I like that.
Hard to hear facts that I'm going to say anyways. The pharmaceutical companies are ensuring that you never get well. The banks are ensuring that you never get out of debt.
Uh-huh.
The media is ensuring that you never know the truth.
Yep.
And the government, they're ensuring that they can all do that legally. Hard to hear.
Yeah. Gubba Homestead. Doesn't that sound nice? Maybe getting yourself a homestead and disconnecting from this rat race. Rat food soon? Rat race soon. Yes. All right. That's what I had to share with you today. I'll be back. Maybe this evening I'll do a sports show. Yeah, I think maybe this evening. I got some stuff to do here now. And then maybe later today I'll do a sports show. So stay tuned in the evening. And then, of course, tomorrow it's strictly football with Mike Barra and Jim Mitchell and maybe Ezrael Robinson. And season 2 will begin. It's our season preview. I'm so excited for football. Go Buckeyes. Had a great win yesterday. Great job. Beat the number 1 team. We're the number 1 team. But that was pretty cool. Yeah, and by the way, I could have went on X right now and given you another 3 hours of content. I have so many more stories that I wanted to break down, but just do a scroll. Make sure you're following us on X at American_media_. All right. Like I said earlier, at the bottom of our screen, there's the tip jar on Venmo and Cash App. It's just my name, BrianEngelman. We do have Patreon, the New American Media. Thank you to all of our subscribers. And thank you to everybody who will subscribe in the future. Like I said, YouTube steals our ability to make advertising revenue on their platform. So we rely on the kindness of family, because you're family when you show up here, especially when you come back a second time. It's like, all right, we didn't piss you off too bad the first time. And if you don't hate me after the first time, you know, you start to learn about a person and who they are after a while. And if I'm not pissing you off too much, you're going to keep coming back, because I'm going to be fairly consistent and I'm going to find very interesting stories. Thank you to everybody for being here. Marion was off work today and so able to stay fully engaged this time. Hey now. Wait, fully engaged? Aren't you married? To John Boy, of course. That was just a joke. Yeah, so thank you, everybody. Oh, we also have our, what's it called? PayPal. The email address is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com if someone wants to send something on the tip jar that way. Also, please make sure you're following the New American Media, scrolling at the bottom at the following places. We're not just on YouTube. We're on a lot of other social media sites because we've been deleted off YouTube and Meta before, so we can't trust to be there on any of these quicksand properties. So make sure you're following the New American Media on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, DLive, and YouTube at the New American Media. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. We're on X at American_media_. And our podcast is the Agree to Disagree Show on Spotify and Apple. Also, our sports podcast is called the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Subscribe to that on Spotify and Apple, whatever that is. And we have another X account, 2 of them. One is at the Unhappy Hour _ for sports, and at TNAM Football for strictly football, at TNAM Football. So link up with us. I did mention our reselling channel. If you're interested in that type of content, I am. It's something that I've been doing for several years and I've been expanding into. It's fantastic. Keep stuff out of the landfill and you get awesome items to cool people who need them. That's what reselling is all about. Garage sailing, thrifting, estate sales, and everything in between. And really just selling off stuff you're not currently using. Like, how many things could we just look around in any room we're in and go, I don't need half of this shit. I could probably get rid of, like, you know. That channel is called Picking Winners Resale. Picking Winners Resale. Let me say hi on one of the comments here. If anybody wanted to follow that, we are growing and focused on making money on that channel. Keep picking winners and making money. That's the tagline for that show. So thanks for following us. We'll be back this evening. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Go Buckeyes. Go Browns. Join me tomorrow, Strictly Football, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I will talk with you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.